everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bank.
Alright, man, I'm risking my reputation on the line with this one today. Look, I'm gonna come out and say it right out of the gate. I don't think being a legend nowadays really matters at all whatsoever. I don't mean to crush dreams with this one, okay? Let me start off. Alright, so before we get into anything, let's first describe exactly what a legend is in graffiti and how to become one. So being a legend in graffiti means that you've done something that affects graffiti on a global scale. A lot of the guys back from the 1970s, 80s, around that time, they became legends because they made the foundation of this community, of this culture, of this art form that we know and love today. But then you have people that came later on, such as, let's say, for example, Saber or Rhyme, just to name a small few, but they became legends because of the impact that they had on the graffiti community. And that impact was global, influencing and inspiring generations. So that's essentially what a legend is, and by proxy, it's also how you become one. You have to do something that affects graffiti on a global scale. That's how you become a legend. This means that becoming a legend isn't inherently tied to your skill level or the amount of years you've been in the game. You could be in the game for 40 years and never become a legend. You could be the best writer in the world, never become a legend. And the opposite is true. You could be writing for only 2 years and become a legend, assuming that you've done something really crazy that captures the entire world. In many ways, it's actually a lot harder to become a king than it is to become a legend, especially nowadays since we have the internet. And that's just a matter of fact. Like, all these things about how being a legend works, that's just what it is. There's an issue. What benefits do you get for becoming a legend? It used to be the case that when you became a legend, your name was exclusive. Only you can have that name. And people respected that. It was a rule that was able to be upheld not only by the individual, but the community at large, because the community was a lot smaller. There wasn't as many people. Number one, that meant that a lot of people weren't really trying to take your name because it's a small community. They knew everybody and everybody knew everybody else. And make no mistake, nowadays the graffiti community is still small, right? I mean, for as global as it's become, everybody still knows everybody. Your favorite graffiti artists have all talked to one another for the most part, and if they haven't, well, they're not too far from it. At very least, they've all heard of one another. So if someone says or does something all the way over here, well then one of their fans is likely to go on over and tell the other person, regardless if the two artists themselves have not talked to one another. Let's take a second away from this topic real quick and talk about our sponsor, My Own Book. If you're just starting graffiti, you're trying to evolve your style, you feel like you're in a bit of a rut and you don't know how to progress, or you took a bit of a hiatus and you want to come back strong, check out our Ultimate Graffiti Guidebook. We've already helped thousands of people learn this art form, find their style, and evolve their style and find progress. The progress that they're really looking for. And we did it with the really easy to read book that has decades worth of information that I established that has never been taught anywhere else. We go over each and every single one of graffiti's fundamentals with hundreds of pictures from start to finish to help you through the learning process. And the information in that book is geared solely around the fundamentals. It's actionable advice that you can implement into your work today, as opposed to getting a critique from somebody and saying like, oh, your work looks dope, but like try this, and you know, giving you information that isn't actionable, information that doesn't really help you, information that doesn't really bolster and refine your fundamentals and your knowledge. This book does that. Look, I've been teaching for over 20 years. I've taught graffiti artists, I've taught concept artists, I've taught fine artists, I've taught comic book artists. And I can teach you how to do this art form too. Check out digital copies over at theartistblock.inc with physical copies over on Amazon. So once again, the community is still really small. However, it's big enough now to where newer writers don't know about older legends. And even if they do know of the older legend, they don't care about the older legend. So what does this mean? It means that the one benefit you had of being a legend gets swept under the rug, and people are now beginning to use the name of previous legends. One of the most famous examples is Ghost. Ghost was an old school New York writer who was a legend. That name, in theory, should be completely off limits, but we have a lot of writers that write Ghost nowadays, and nobody cares. And you can't really blame them either because, number one, Ghost is a really popular name. It's just a really popular name. Like, there's no two ways around it, right? It's just one of those things that people go to when they very first start graffiti. You can't blame them for choosing the name. It's also a pretty dope name. But then you got other names like Sane, another New York legend, and people will pick the name and spell it the same way. Once again, you can't blame them, because if you have somebody in Europe who only knows other European writers, they just started, they don't know New York legends, you could say, all right, do your history, but with how many lies and how many exaggerated truths there are, and with how much white noise as far as information is out out there, it's really difficult to learn the history. A lot more difficult than it used to be. Especially when you got people like Cornbread as an example of somebody who likes to lie about the history. You got a lot of people like him that will go ahead and just make up whole entire lives that they did not live. And they'll have you believe that they're a legend for it. In fact, I mean, we're gonna go off a little bit of a tangent here because this video is a little bit more of a rant style, but I remember my partner used to go to New York pretty frequently, and he met a writer there who swore up and down that he was a legend. He had my partner believe in it. Older dude, right age for 70s graffiti, lived in the right area, but he came to the shop one day, and that was his mistake, because there were actual legends at that shop. And once that dude left, he got exposed. His spot got blown up pretty hardcore, and we all just kind of laughed at him. Point being, there's a lot of these bad actors in graffiti, so you can't expect random people from across the world to do diligent, accurate research about the history that's been lied about so frequently. As a result, choosing already taken names is inevitable, and the more famous the legend is, the longer of a lifespan their name is going to have. For example, Saber, J.A. Those are names people probably aren't going to be taking all too much over the next bunch of decades. Once again, somebody like Sane, no disrespect to him, he's not as famous as they are. As a result, his name is going to be taken a lot more frequently, a lot sooner. People like Blade, Ghost. Once again, these names are really common, they're not as famous, and their names are going to be taken a lot sooner, a lot more frequently. So the one benefit you got for risking your life, for risking your freedom, for changing the graffiti world, you no longer really get. Now here's an interesting thing about this topic, and that is when graffiti first started, there was no such thing as legends. It was just people doing it for the love of the game. And I love that about early on graffiti. It wasn't really, like, don't get me wrong, it was always about reputation, always about you and your name and putting that name up. It just was too early for legends to have existed. So there was like a mutual respect amongst other writers. It didn't take long for legends to appear though. I mean, in the 80s, 70s writers were considered old school. In the 90s, 80s and 70s writers were considered old school. Not so much in the 2000s. In the 2000s, it was mostly 70s and 80s that was considered old school, and I know this because I jokingly said to a different writer who started in the 90s, which I also started in the 90s, I said, wow, you're old school. And then everybody laughed at me not getting my joke, and I felt like an idiot. I still remember that vividly to this day. Happens to the best of us. Now people would say, oh well John, respect is what you get for being a legend. And I can tell you firsthand, respect didn't put food on any of these legends' plates for the most part. What put food on their plates was being able to take that and spin it into something that they can market for either fine art or for business opportunities of any kind, whether it's with sponsor deals, gallery shows, or anything of that sort. The respect in and of itself didn't really do anything for them. That's not what's life-changing about becoming a legend. Most legends don't even cash in on that. So what does the respect give you? Well, are you even really getting respect if other people are using your name so frequently? How does that respect manifest? Does it get you tribute pieces on walls? Not until you die. We saw that with Isnt. And while those tribute pieces are nice, they're necessary, you know, they're dope, we love to see them, that only comes after death. So how does that respect manifest when the person is alive? The fact of the matter is, it really doesn't. Newer writers are still going to take the walls they want to take regardless of who's on the wall, even if it's a legend. When a legend hits a wall and people don't go over it, and people are actually respecting the legend's wall, well, alright, people are likely also respecting everybody else's work on that same wall. So they're not getting any higher regard of respect on that wall. I'll tell you what used to be a really nice touch to those older heads in graffiti was back at 5 Points with Mears, they used to have an old timers day where old school writers would come and paint. Like stuff like that was nice for those writers. It was nice for legends and things of that nature. There used to be ways in this community to cash in that respect, and I think that's important, right? That kind of incentivizes people to have that legendary status. Another big issue is that, you know what? I wish I remember this guy's name. It was a content creator here on YouTube who credited himself as being a legend, and him and I got into a little back and forth because I tried to convince the dude, like, bro, you're not a legend. I'm sorry. Like, your work is dope, don't get me wrong, but man, I wish I remembered his name. But having a few 100,000 followers does not make you a legend. So people nowadays are really quick due to social media to just credit themselves as a legend, and it's like, bro, how are you not like Joffrey calling yourself king? What are you doing? At this point, the meaning of legend has diminished. The bar has been lowered. It's really easy to change graffiti on a global scale, and it's also really easy to do that and for nobody to care. On the flip side, once you do become a legend, there's no tangible return on that level of respect. Not like there used to be. There used to be an actual physical manifestation of that respect that came in the form of name exclusivity, where people did not use your name, and privileged walls and spots. Nowadays, content creators with big followings get opportunities more than some legends do. And that includes myself. Companies have sent me boatloads of cans, and meanwhile, some legends, they don't get any of that. And here was the great thing between being a king and being a legend, right? Being a king was pretty unsustainable. You could do it for a decade, maybe 2 decades, even if you were like, wow. Right? Let's once again use JA as an example. RD is another great example. There's a lot of them out there. Is it very difficult to do that for that stretch of time? Yes, it's incredibly difficult, which is part of the reason why I say it's harder to be a king than a legend. Being a king is always temporary. Being a legend, once you hit that status, you're a legend forever. And that was one of the benefits. And nowadays, that benefit it's just not there. I see at no point, I mean, maybe some of you guys can convince me otherwise. I mean, if you have an argument to make against what I'm saying, hey, by all means, make it. These videos are always a discussion between us, right? And as long as the discussion is cool and civil, I'm down for it. But I just don't see the point in striving to be a legend nowadays. And some might make the argument of, well, maybe you shouldn't be striving for that. Maybe you should just be striving for the love of the game. And if you happen to become a legend in the process, well then dope. And I would actually agree to that. In fact, that's kind of how I feel about it. Regardless though, it would still be nice to see some tangible return on that level of respect for people who manage to attain that title. And now, there just is none. I'm sure when I'm recording this, I'm going to think of like 10 other examples of things I should have said during this video, but that pretty much wraps up today's videos, guys. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. I'd love to get your perspective on this because that status, that legendary status, was a big thing in graffiti, and now it's not. With that said, don't forget about our Ultimate Graffiti Guidebook that you can find in the description down below. Perfect for brand new writers and anybody getting back into graffiti, or people that want to level up their style and skill. We have digital copies over at theartistblock.inc with physical copies over on Amazon, and we also have the best how to do graffiti tutorials anywhere online right up here with more graffiti content right down here, and I'll catch you guys back here next week. Thanks for watching.